we will talk about cascading style sheets, version 3, in these 2 weeks, this week and the next week. Okay. Actually, CSS, we are using CSS to specify the presentation of elements separately from the structure of the document. Okay, what we said before, HTML creates the structure, and we are using HTML5, which is improved version of HTML, and it also gives meaning to our elements. I mean, we have meaningful elements, so computers can understand our document content more easier. So HTML creates the structure of our document. And what about the presentation of elements? I mean, what is the presentation? For example, font size, for example, font color, color. These are presentation of elements. Of course, we have more, okay? I will talk about them. These are presentation of elements. So if you want to play with presentation of elements, then you need to use CSS. And in this course, we'll talk about CSS 3. Before I start, I mean, after you develop your code, okay, you can validate your CSS like we were doing for HTML. We have a web page. Okay, in the lecture notes, I gave you the address, okay, for the CSS validator. You can enter to that web page and upload your code to validate it. Validate means you are validating if the CSS you used is correct or incorrect, okay? Now, let me share my screen with you. I think you can see my screen. Let me open a file. Okay, HTML. Save it. And let me display it in my browser. Okay. Now, friends, of course, we are going to embed our CSS code into our HTML page. We have 2 different CSS style. Now, the first one is inline style, which declares an individual elements format using the HTML attribute style. Okay. And let me solve an example for you, or let's write our first code for CSS. Let's say that we have a paragraph here, and we have some text here, okay? Then we have another paragraph, and in this paragraph, I'm going to say this is my first line that I'm using CSS 3. Okay, now in this line, okay, I'm going to use CSS as inline style. But before I do that, let me save and refresh my page. Okay, this is the original text without any CSS. Okay, now I'm going to here in paragraph, and I'm going to use inline style, and now I will change the presentation of this element. What I'm going to do here, I will say style is equal to font size. And as you see, for Visual Studio, we have IntelliSense. So when you type something, it gives you the alternatives that you can use. Font size. Okay. And column 20 point. Okay. And then color. Change font first, okay? Okay, this is the font. What I did here, I used style and changed the font size of my text here, okay? This, I used style attribute for my paragraph element, and I played with the font size. This is Inline Style Css, okay? Let's save it and see what happens. You see the font size is changed. It's possible to use more than one feature. For example, I changed font size, and also I can play with color. For color, let's say aquamarine. Okay, I'm saving it, I'm refreshing it, and as you see, let me say blue. Save it, refresh it. Can you see it? It's very easy, okay? It's very easy. Of course, this is not all. I mean, if you are using more than one element, of course you are using. It's also possible to use inline style in other elements. For example, I have paragraph here. Okay, this is the second paragraph. Okay, and here also you can use style is equal to font size 20 points. Okay. So this is also possible. I mean, you may use inline style in many elements in your page. Okay. Okay. Any question here? For colors, friend, as you see here, when you put column, then Visual Studio gives you a list of colors that you can choose any of them, okay? But also we have hexadecimal codes for every color. You can also use hexadecimal codes of color. Okay, it's possible. It's your choice. Now, any question? Okay, let me talk about the second alternative. Actually, as you see here, I used font size 20 points for paragraph here. I used font size 20 points for this part as well. Friends, CSS, okay, we are using it to present our elements, but it has another advantage that we are using in professional life. What is that? For example, we have a project and let's say that 100 engineers are working on this project. And these 100 engineers are creating some designs. Now, who can tell me how we can provide a standard for our project? I mean, all engineers are creating their designs based on their preference. For example, I like font size 20 and I like color blue, but you like color yellow. Another one likes color green. I am using my menu items with black filled bullets. You are using as number. So we are developing the same project, but everybody is using different styles. How we can prevent it? Any idea? No idea. Muhammed Kadura. What do you think?
I know like classes, but I only saw like I did not ever write class in HTML.
Okay. Then Patrick, are you there? Okay, then. Yes. What do you think? How we can find a solution to have a standard? Assume that we are 100 engineers and developing the same project.
To get the standard in CSS or every project?
We have a single project. Everybody is designing its own site. I think everybody is getting 312, isn't it? Did you get software engineering course?
I'm getting.
We are taking it now.
That's good. Okay, that's good. Assume that we are developing the same project, but you know it's a huge project and everybody has different responsibilities. You are developing, let's say, that stock management side. I'm developing it's let's say that buying part of the system. Ömer is doing selling part. Muhammed Kadura is doing accounting part, but it's the complete project. So developing the project is different thing. Designing the project is different thing. So what happens here? According to what I taught here, you can use inline style CSS. What is inline style CSS here? For the paragraphs, I am saying that we will use 20 points font size and color will be sandy brown. Then what I need to do here, I will prepare a manual, deliver to all engineers, and when an engineer use paragraph, they know which font size and which color they are going to use. Okay? This is first solution type, which is the difficult one. We are using CSS, but we are choosing inline style, which is the difficult one. Okay? Inline CSS is faster. Okay, just we are using at that moment, you can change the font size, you can write the color, you can play with the presentation at the moment. But I think inline style cannot be used, or you can use, but it may be difficult in real life. So how we are going to do that? We have CSS. It's a powerful presenter. How we are going to use it in a project? Okay. The other style, which is embedded style, I think it can be a solution for us. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to go back to head part. Okay. Sıdıka, you have clever ideas. I will come to that point. Okay. Then here in head part, I'm going to create my style. Okay. And type of my style that I'm going to type now, it will be text CSS. Okay. Then here I'm saying that if in my code the browser sees paragraph, change the font size to 20 point. Okay. And color will be blue. Now what happened here? I created style. This will be my CSS, okay? And I'm saying when a paragraph element is used in body, apply font size 20 point and color blue. So when I do this, when browser see paragraph in body, it will automatically use these features for the paragraphs. So instead of inline, I am using embedded. Okay. Okay, let me save it. Refresh it. Okay. Then what happens here, instead of giving a manual to engineers, I will just give them the style here. If I share this style with everybody and they copy and paste this style in their HTML documents, then it will be very easy to apply the standard style. Okay, everybody use paragraph. The paragraph will be 20 points and color will be blue. You got the point? How CSS helps us to have standard style in our projects. But don't think that it's only paragraph. I mean, we have many elements. For example, let me continue in this way. But before I continue, let me tell you other thing. Okay. Any question here? I'm expecting one question here. Okay, what can be the question?
Excuse me.
Yes,
Sorry.
who is speaking?
It's Mohammed.
Yes, Mohammed.
What if we keep the style like as an attribute with the paragraph?
Yes,
Does
Mohammed.
like override or?
This is the question that I'm expecting. Okay, this is the question that I'm expecting. What happens if I don't want all paragraphs blue? Or let's say that I want to display a warning text, and this text must not be blue, must be red, for example. What will happen? Should I use all paragraphs in blue? No, there may be some let's say that exemptions. Let me do this paragraph. I'm coming here, I'm saying style is equal to color, let me say red. Okay. What will happen now? I am saving it. I'm refreshing it. This is the thing that this one has higher priority based on embedded style. If you use inline style, it has higher priority. Okay. So what will happen for this text? It will use red. Okay. But don't forget, we have color here. We have color here. This color that I used as inline will have higher priority, but font size is still 20 points because we don't have font size here, and this font size comes from the style for paragraph. Okay, inherited. So for this paragraph, font size will be 20 points. Still, is that okay? Okay. Now, let me go back.
Okay.
And yes. Yes, Malik also asked the same question. That's good. I will talk about classes, class IDs, Sidika. This Ömer, actually, I didn't get the question, but yeah, you see the inline and embedded style, that how we are using them. Actually, inline style, we are using inline style just to put a presentation type or presentation style for that element. But embedded is applying to all elements in general. And also when you are working big projects, embedded style is better because the other way is so difficult to handle. Okay, then let me continue here. Okay, in style, in embedded style, we have, yes, Ömer, of course, it's like, yes, yeah, because we have scope here. You can think in that way. I mean, like those, yes. Okay, then here we have style. I just use paragraph, but it's possible to use for other elements. For example, H1. I'm saying if H1 is used, okay, then font family will be Tahoma. Okay, I can say this. Now, what will happen here? When I say H1, I'm changing this to, let's say that, or let's write another one, H1 heading. Okay, save and refresh. Now I am heading here, and it's font family is Tahoma. Friends, here I'm talking about family. Okay, what I mean with family. Font family, for example, serif. Let me say, serif is a generic font family, and it contains, for example, Times New Roman and Georgia. Sans serif, it contains, for example, Arial, Verdana, Futura fonts. Okay, monospace font family. It contains, for example, Carrier or fixed system. And here I'm saying font family, Tahoma. Tahoma also contains some fonts, and browser starts from the first. It just considers which one it supports, and the one that it supports, it will be used. Okay, but let's say that the whole Tahoma family is not supported by browser. What will happen? Here it is possible for me to put some alternatives. For example, if Tahoma isn't supported by the browser, then use Helvetica. Okay. Then if it is not supported, then use sans serif, for example. Okay. I can put some alternatives. If this is supported, it will be used. If this is supported, it will be used. Which, starting from the first one, it checks. The first one it supports, then it will be used. Okay. Why I am doing these things? Because, we do not have one browser. We have many browsers, and we don't know which browser the user is going to use. Second thing, browsers are being improved every day, so I don't know what will be the coming version of the browser. So sometimes considering alternatives is good. Okay. Less headache. Okay, let's continue. I told about this. I can say, for example, EM. You remember EM? It's for emphasizing. I mean, making italic. So for when I use emphasize, it will make it italic, but font weight will be bold. Okay, and color will be, let's say that, chocolate. Okay, then let me use emphasize here. EM. And I'm saving and refreshing. You see, EM is still making my text as italic, but I have some attributes coming from my CSS. So font weight is bold and color is chocolate here. Okay. And you know, I use it in paragraph. That paragraphs bring us font size 20 points. Okay, we don't have any additional attribute about font size. So font size will be inherited from paragraph, and it is still 20 points. But color is not inherited from paragraph. What happened? Color chocolate will be used EM because for EM I used alternative attribute. So for EM it will be used its own attribute. It will not be used paragraphs attribute. EM's attribute, which is let's say that style, will have higher priority. So the color of EM text will be chocolate, not blue. Okay, I hope you got the point. And any question? Okay, let me continue. And here I want to show you something that, let's say that I want to use something special, like this one. As we told with Muhammad, if I want to make one line in different color and I don't want it to get paragraphs blue color, this is the first way to use inline style and take the priority and do not use the inherited color. This is the first way. But the second way is, for example, for warning messages, how will we do? For example, we are 100 engineers in the company and Mohammed prefers red, Hazal prefers orange, Ömer prefers yellow. What will happen? So to make it standard, it's better to consider such situations. So what I am going to do, I'm saying that in my embedded style, okay, let me have a class. What is that? I'm saying dot warning. This will be my warning class, and the color will be red. Okay. Then instead of using inline style as I wish, I will use the standard that is assigned by the company. So what they say, sorry. What they say, they are saying that you have warning, then use warning class. So here, instead of using this, I am going to say class equal to warning. Now, what will happen when you say dot and a name? This is class. When you use it for your element, you should say class and the name. Okay, I'm saving and I'm refreshing, and you see still it is red. And when you have warning message, you need to use warning class. And when anyone in the company from these 100 engineers need warning, they will use warning class. So what will happen? All warnings will be in red. Okay, you got the point here? Okay, I hope so. Then let me say another thing. Here, the other thing is about this CSS is if the company decides to change warning color later, what will happen? Then they are going to change it to purple. Okay. And they will send this style to everybody. Then everybody should copy and paste the style in their HTML pages. But assume that you have 500 pages. Then what will happen? You are going to copy and paste all 500 HTML pages with just one word change, just for one word change. This is being very difficult. Then what is the solution for that? If something changes, then how we are going to do that? Okay, here, instead of, instead of using just style here, we can use external style sheet. Okay, external style sheet. What do I mean with external style sheet? You can have a CSS file. Okay, you can have CSS file with a CSS extension. Okay, and then here in style part, you will not have this part. Okay, what I'm going to do, I am taking this part. Okay, taking this part, copying to, let's say that I'm cutting it. Okay, okay, I am opening new file. Okay, let me open it. Or instead of that, it's easy and doesn't matter. I mean, you can also use Notepad. Doesn't matter. Just put your style somewhere else. Okay, no need for this. Okay, just the inside of style is enough. Okay, you will save it. File, save as. Okay, as my style.css extension can be CSS. Okay, after you save it, my style.css. Okay, let me do this. I need to put it here. Okay, let me save it. Okay. My style.css. I think my HTML is also here. Okay. Okay. Then we go back, and here in the head part, we are saying link rel should be style sheet, and type will be equal to CSS, and hyperlink reference should be my style.css. Okay, I'm saving it, I'm refreshing it, and you see nothing is changed. So it got style from this file. Okay. I think everybody's here. Okay, that's good. Friends, what happened here? It got the embedded style from the file. So when I update anything in my CSS, I'm just delivering the file, CSS file, to all engineers, and then they will just replace their file. This is easier, I think. And if you want more easier and more professional, then we do not need to replace any file. The company puts the file on the web, and in my HTML, I can take it over the internet. For example, HTTP cmp emu edu tr/ my style, okay, .css. If I put it on the internet, then for your HTML pages, if you have internet connection, you can easily get that CSS file over internet. So what happens? I modify CSS, I modify just one file on the internet. So engineers do not need to replace file, okay? Do not need to do anything special. You just use warning class in your code, then automatically the color decided by the company comes. Okay, this is the best. Okay, I think you got the point. Now I use it local, so I cannot run the code, but you can put the code on internet and try to take it over internet. Other than this, I can give you another example. I told about 100 engineers, the same company, the same project. But the other thing is there are some ready CSS files. For example, you don't have time to create your design for a project, and what you are doing, you can buy template. Also, there are free templates, and these templates may use CSS. So they are on the web. They are just getting them, or over the internet. You can just writing them here and using them, even if it is free or not. You can use some other ready CSS files for your projects. Okay, don't think that you have to develop or design your CSS file by yourself, or you need to get a CSS file designed by the company. You can also use some CSS file designed by some others, by some other companies, by some other engineers, doesn't matter, but you can use them in your projects, okay, even if you pay or not. But if it is free, you can use it. If it is paid, of course, you need to pay some money for them. And you can use some ready designs, okay? But don't think that CSS is just font size and color. We have many things in CSS. I will talk about them later. Okay. Any question? Okay, then I'm going to stop here for today, but I will take attendance, okay? I will take attendance, and then I will let you be free. Okay, let me stop recording.